Today, what I want to explain to you guys is how exactly I use dual language books or bilingual books. Like, my best methodology for using them. And I got this story right now, which is the first story in that book I showed you in my last video. And what I start out with, how I begin, is I will read the whole entire story without looking at the English side or your native language side, whichever that may be. And I mean, I'll understand 50 to 80% usually, unless it's something really highly technical. And I'll just read the whole story, la 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 la, you know, understanding some and understanding not some. And then afterwards, the words that I don't know, like, I'll go and read it again, and the words I don't know, I will write down, like right there. I did from the first paragraph of this story, and I'll kind of read you some of it. In den alten Zeiten, wo das Wünschen nach geholfen hat, lebte ein König. Dessen Tochter waren alle schön, aber die Jüngste war so schön, dass die Sonne selber. And I wrote that down, dass die Sonne selber, that the sun itself. Selber is not a word I've heard very often, so itself, selber, that is something I kind of wrote down so I could remember. Die doch so vieles gesehen hat, sich verwunderte, which I also wrote down, sich verwunderte, astonished, sich verwunderte, never seen that before. And sorry if my pronunciation's a little off. A lot of these words I have not heard someone speak before, but I've seen them before and know what they mean. But most I have not actually heard spoken. Let's see, where did I leave off? So oft sie ihr ins Gesicht schien, näher bei dem Schlosse des Königs lag ein großer, dunkler Wald, und in dem Walde, unter einer alten Linde, Linde I wrote down, which is linden tree, did not know that one at all, war ein Brunnen. Wenn nun der Tag recht heiß war, so ging das Königskind hinaus in den Wald und setzte sich an dem Rand des kühlen Brunnens. Und wenn sie Langeweile hatte, so nahm sie ein goldene Kugel. And I wrote down Kugel, which is like ball. Now, Kugel I've never come across. I mean, I've heard like ball in German, like der Ball or das Ball or whichever. Ball, but I had never heard Kugel before, so I wrote that down. War sie in der Hohe, which is another word, die Hohe, Hohe, which is, I guess, air. She threw it in the air. And I'm used to hearing Luft for air. I don't know if that's right or what. So I just wrote down air. Und fing sie wieder. Und das war ihr liebstes Spielwerk. Und Spielwerk, pastime, that is a word I've never seen before. Spielwerk. So what I do is I write them all down. And then later on, maybe sometime throughout the day when I'm bored or whatever, I just happen to look at it. I'll look at it and I'll go through them again. And then I'll read that first paragraph again with all those new words in it. And when I read it, I try to truly visualize what's going on in the story. So if let's for instance see Kugel again, I'll genuinely, you know, imagine like a ball. And reading it over and over and kind of looking at these words every once in a while really helps me to remember those new words. So next time when I go and read it, I'll understand everything. So I rarely ever even look at the other side, the English side. I rarely ever look at it. I just use it in the beginning to figure out the words I don't know. And I think, in my opinion, that's the best way to use dual language books. That's how I've always used them. And I really like read the same stories over and over to get that new vocabulary in my mind. So that's what I do. I mean, I don't know if there's any other better method out there, but that's how I do it.